Have you ever thought what makes some people so good at communicating? How are some people able to confidently communicate with anyone? In this video, I'm going to share what the experts at communication do so you can truly master your communication so you can get your point across. You can influence yourself and others at any time. My name is Alex Morgan, and I help you align your actions, your beliefs, your dreams, and your thinking so you can have success. And success is here, so you might as well be ready for it. And one of the easiest ways to have success, because we want success to be easy, is to be a master at communication and to be able to confidently communicate with anyone and be flexible in your communication. So masters at communication, they do a few different things. The first one is they're really good at observing others. They don't go into a conversation and just wanting to speak and get their point across all the time. A lot of times they go in and they're looking to observe the other person and unconsciously build rapport so that when they do speak, their point gets across uncritically, meaning the other person, they're not even thinking about it and they'll naturally want to accept what they're saying. So they have a good look at the other person and they really start to understand how that person is feeling inside as that person is talking. And then they're looking to match that emotion, match that feeling inside of them. They're looking to match how fast, how slow they talk, how excited they are. So they're observing different things and matching it so that they can build that unconscious rapport. So when they do speak, that it's really, really effective and they're able to get their point across. And the whole point of these communications is to get a win-win situation. So you win and the other person wins. Now, one of the things that's really important too that masters at communication understand, and one of the easiest ways to influence others, is you want to be able to have a state. So you want to feel something internally that's going to be effective for the communication. So if you're just getting to know somebody, why not be really, really curious? And you can even ask questions with those words in it. Or why not be relatively excited? Now, you don't have to be so excited that you're jumping out of the chair. However, you can appear to be excited. So that's the whole key, is you want to appear that you can be any of these states that are going to make the other person feel good. So you can even tell them, hey, you know what? It's really good to meet you. I'm really curious about something. And when we say something like this, it helps the other person also get into these states. So the other person is actually curious about what we have to say. And if you want another person to be excited, you can ask them a question and say, yeah, I'm just really excited to hear what you have to think about this. So why don't you tell me what you think so I can see if we agree or if we think in a common way. So your state is very important to influencing someone. Because what if you went into an interaction and you were totally anxious and you were totally nervous as opposed to curious and excited? Do you think that you would be as influential, or do you think the other person would be as open to accepting your communication? Or do you think that they would be more closed off? If I met you for the first time and I was totally nervous and you could tell something was going on, wouldn't you think, what's going on with this person? Why are they acting like this? However, if I was totally curious and excited, then you'd probably want to speak to me and you probably want to hear what I would have to say. So you need to build really good rapport. You need to observe the person. And then you need to use your state to influence the other person. And all I've really done is ask the person one question. Oh, I'm curious to know, or I'm really excited to hear what you have to say. We haven't even talked about what you have to say yet, or what you can say yet. The good thing to understand is when we're a master at communication, and I know you want to be a master at communication because you're an intelligent person, that means that you're going to start to say things in a certain way so that you can influence yourself and other people. You're going to listen mostly to what these people are saying. How do they talk? One of the things to influence others is listen for the types of words that they use. What does that mean? Well, the sensory-based words, are they using more visual words? Are they using more auditory words? Are they using more feeling type words? How are they talking? Are they talking really into detail, or are they talking more into the big picture? So you need to understand this, because if they're using more visual words, then you can use more visual words. So if they're saying things like see, visualize, vision, look, things like this, use those words when you communicate, because that might be how they like to communicate in those types of words. Hearing words, auditory words, hear, sound, all these types of words, talk, listen, any words that have to do with talking. And feeling words, feel, touch, grasp, get a hold of. Any of these types of words are really good if they're using more of those. Me personally, I like to use more feeling words. That's my primary way that I speak. However, I need to adjust to other people. I need to be flexible in my communication as well. Another thing is you want to see if they're talking way up in the big picture or if they're more down in the details. Now, if they're up in the big picture, that's good. Just make sure that you can ask them enough questions to where you're not confused because you're not sure what they're talking about, but you want to talk a bit more in the big picture. You don't want to go into so many details and then you look over and the person's like, they're so bored because you're talking in all these details. Now, if they're talking in details, you don't want to be so vague in your conversation to where they're looking at you like, what's this guy talking about? What is he saying? To where they're so confused that they don't know what's going on. So notice, how much are they actually talking at any one time? And are they using so many detailed words and phrases and things like this? Or are they talking more abstract, more ambiguous, vague in the big picture? And adjust accordingly to different people. Now, another thing to consider is when people are down in the details and they're so detailed, it's more difficult, to gain agreement. So if you notice a conversation and you're not really agreeing on something, maybe go a little bit more big picture so you can agree on a bit more things if that's the goal of the conversation. And all you have to do is say, oh, yeah, you mentioned that, you like doing this, this, and this, and you gave quite a few details. What's the intention of that? What's the purpose of that? What is that an example of? So those are questions to get them to get a bit more up to the big picture. What's the purpose? What's the intention? What's this an example of? And if you want to get them into a bit more details, you can say, oh, what's another example of this? Or what specifically do you mean about this? So something like this, you get them more specific. So you can consider this as well when you're speaking to people. This will help you influence them along with the sensory-based words. And you also want to be really flexible. The person with the most flexibility controls the system. So people who are really influential and masters at communication, they understand this. They're able to use their flexibility of behavior to get the outcome that they want, and that everyone wants, because it's a win-win in the communication. So if you see that something is not going the way you want, then you need to change how you speak, because you're the one who knows this stuff. So you need to be the leader. You need to be the one that makes the change and change your communication and get it through in a different way. And the more you do this, the more you'll easily feel when your communication gets through. Just notice, how do I feel internally? So I just said this, this, and this. The person seems to be responding pretty well. I feel good. So chances are then that other person is feeling good as well. So there's ways to check as you're doing it. Be really in tune with the words you're saying, how you're listening, how curious and excited you are, how you're feeling inside. This will tell you how flexible you're being and how you can really manage your communication throughout the conversation. And the other thing, really the last thing I'm going to mention now, is the meaning of communication is the response that you get. So if you're saying something and you're not getting the response that you want, that means that there's not something wrong with the other person. That means that you need to deliver the communication in another way so that that person understands it and how you want the conversation to go, how you want to influence the conversation. So it's up to you to get the results that you want during the conversation. It's your responsibility. If you're not getting the results that you want, you need to be flexible and you need to change your behavior, change your communication so that you can get the response that you get. It's up to you. It's 100% and 100% on both sides. However, since you know these things, you really want to take control of your 100% because that means you're taking responsibility. You're not pointing the finger at someone else during the communication. You're taking responsibility. You're flexible and you're going to make it work so you get the response that you want. So go ahead, comment below what you think was really helpful in this video. If you haven't already, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate everyone who's been subscribing, leaving comments, suggestions, recommendations for videos. I'm going to keep making them every single day. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video.